Hey everybody, I'm Kelsey Kalor, and this is my astrology report channel. This is where I make a lot of astrology forecasts and interpret what the energies from the universe bring to us and how they make an impact on our world and society as a collective. So if you're new to my channel, you know the drill. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to get more updates about astrology, because I pretty much send out a whole list per month of what's to come for like the next 6 weeks or even 5 months or 6 months. So a few reasons why I focus on astrology. First of all, I'm an astrology enthusiast, I'm an astrology lover, and instead of playing games on my phone, I'm out here interpreting the future, trying to see what's next to come. There's so many astrology charts to read, so whether they're worldly or whether they're my own or somebody else's. So I do readings for people. It's astrology and tarot card reading, they really go hand in hand. So if you're interested in finding other readings or ways of reading into your universe or your energy, astrology is always good for that as well. So I also need to mention that I focus on sidereal astrology, or some may know it as Vedic astrology. And it just simply means that it's a little bit shifted from the westernized astrology that a lot of us Americans use. So therefore, if you are a Libra in tropical astrology, you would most likely be a Virgo. And I would say that it's more accurate to the description of what these constellations mean and the timing of what we're in. So when I talk about my reports, I'm going off of the ancient form and the original form of astrology. So if you are stoked about what's to come in the future or how to predict the stars of our universe, because look, outer space, the stars, they're part of our nature too. So the way that you read signs on Earth, you can also read the signs through the sky as well. So what we have in this month of June 2024, we have the new moon in Gemini, the sun in Gemini, aka Gemini season, and we also have full moon in Sagittarius, and we also have another retrograde coming towards us. I shouldn't say coming towards us because that sounds like a meteoroid, so I gotta be astrology sensitive when I'm talking about what's coming towards us. All right, so Gemini new moon. What the new moon means in astrology is that it's a time that we experience strong emotions, where we have new intentions to start something, begin something, or to finally release and let go of something, whether we intend on it or we see it in our natural life. So when the new moon is in Gemini specifically, this means strong emotions to begin, release, or set new intentions under the influence of intellect, communications, commuting, journalism, and collaboration. So Gemini new moon has the effect of making your mind race. So if this influence has a major impact on you, just be grounded and connect with your body. We have the tendency to be a little scattered, so you might want to do some breathing exercises to calm your nerves. The sign Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury, and the planet Mercury has a gravity pull on Earth that affects our nervous system. The major impact that it would have is on people who are some Geminis, some Cancers, and also some Virgos and some Libras. It influences journalism, so radios, TV shows, talk shows, or podcasts, etc. So Gemini is big on collaborating and the idea of adjusting and adapting to new environments. This influence of the moon is encouraging you to be more intentional about the thoughts you dwell on and the way you choose to interpret your experiences. It brings you to consider the small details in your life that you want to consider what's fitting in the big picture that you want to create and what's not, or what needs adjustments. If you are feeling scattered, then rely on what you learned in school, which is taking notes. Noting down your ideas, plans, intentions, self-identity, your suppressed thoughts, your feelings, your fears, your accomplishments, etc. Just take some notes, because right now, if you are like a Gemini or a Virgo, or if you're a, what's another one? If you're the mutable signs like Pisces, Sagittarius, and yeah, I think that's it, then those signs could mainly be impacted by these next 4 weeks of the moon being in this phase. Allow yourself to breathe and be flexible when setting your intentions. Be mindful of how the thoughts you entertain and the words you speak contribute to shaping your reality. You'll want to consider if the thoughts you have about yourself or your life are productive, or if the words being said about you are helping you or hurting you. So this might be a valuable time that's influencing you to consider your environment, your community, your friends who you're confiding in, your siblings, people or company that's close to you, or simply just what are you doing to make an impact on your thoughts and how you feel about yourself. Be aware of your stories and let go of the ones that aren't serving you, and just edit them, but don't allow them to direct your experience. So just know that you have the pen to write and rewrite your own life. So just in general, this moon in Gemini, we want to have new intentions towards how we socialize in the world and how we show up in our communities. We might even have new intentions to be involved in new communities. It's definitely revolved around short traveling, commuting, communities, communicating, collaborating. It's all the C's. Okay, so when we're in a new moon phase of a zodiac sign, that means that we're also jumping into the sun sign of that same zodiac sign. That's why we call it the season of, etc., etc. Now that we have a new moon coming up in Gemini, June 6th, for the next 4 weeks, we also have the sun going into Gemini season. Now, Gemini season every year improves your communication skills. People's work life and personality start to flourish. This energy tends to bring extroverted vibes around and stimulates great conversations amongst you and your loved ones. So its influence is lighthearted, it's silly, it's witty, it's friendly. However, it also can come off a little superficial, because Gemini's inherent interests are to be everything to everybody, which causes that sign to be a changeable and shape-shifty mentality. So that's why we always make jokes about, oh, they're two-faced, they got two-faced, but it's that other side moment that happens, and people that are close to people that hold a Gemini trait, whether it's their sun sign is a Gemini, or their moon sign, or their rising sign, sometimes some of these people come up with a new personality or say things that you never thought related to them at all, and they say it to somebody else but in front of you, and you're just kind of looking at them like, since when? So I kind of had that moment yesterday with a relative of mine that is a Gemini moon. I think they just lied because they were just trying to save their ass or something. I don't know, but they did it so smoothly and so well that I believe the person they were talking to could have believed it. But I'm sitting here playing the objector, like, since when were you like that? So yeah, those tendencies do come off fake sometimes, but sometimes that trait is really good at being a salesman, a marketer, somebody who's in a trading business. Gemini is known as a mutable sign. It's the first mutable sign out of all of the zodiac signs. A mutable sign simply means a sign that is changeable. They're flexible in how they go about things, which they can be a Virgo, Pisces, or Sagittarius, as well as Gemini. So overall, communications and verbal activities will be highlighted this season, which will show up in front of us. So as a collective, we'll share experiences and personal interests, whether this energy impacts us strongly or minorly. We're all gonna experience tapping into our curiosities and some educationals. We might also be more friendly, social, and experience some journalistic ways and activities amongst us, or we might have them this season. So whatever part of your life that will show up during this season will show up in your natal chart. Just remember to check out my description below and DM me on Instagram or email me if you want to get a reading. All right, next we have full moon in Sagittarius, which is completely the opposite of new moon in Gemini. It's sister sign. So June 21st, we have the full moon going into Sagittarius, which means strong emotions to end or recognize or finish something under the influence of wisdom, our belief system, our higher consciousness, or under the influences of bravery. Now, this full moon will be a motivating experience that will push you towards the need to having faith. After the last full moon 4 weeks ago in Scorpio, revealing some of the fears that continue to hold you back, now the full moon in Sagittarius this month reveals the understanding that you can go the distance that you truly want to go in life. So it's a time that encourages you to start being more realistic about what you are capable of and why. You may have been selling yourself short and denying your own talents, but this energy can influence your emotions to defy that noise and to have courage now. And then so you'll receive growth and knowledge and an opportunity to ascend in your world. Now you're going to want to start acknowledging your long-term goals and your higher principles without getting caught up into small details and the fears that cause you to be stagnant. So how this full moon will impact you personally and shows you where your point of growth happens can be discovered in your birth chart. So get at me. So I think the combination between new moon in Gemini and a full moon in Sagittarius, the way they intertwine means that you might want to do some journaling so that you can kind of get your mind organized, get your mind grounded and to the way that you want it to be. And also being open to communicating and learning from your existing situation or where you want to head in your life. And moving into Sagittarius full moon means that it's time to have faith. It's time to gather everything that you learned and put it into your knowledge and move it into your sense of wisdom and acknowledging what you know now, acknowledging what you know about yourself instead of lying to yourself, because honestly, your environment can be lying to you, which happens for a lot of people, or your environment might be the best thing for you. You might, especially if you're satisfied with where you're at in your life. So now it's a great time to ascend in your world, which means to go graduate to the next level, expand what you have. Okay, next we have a retrograde coming up. So last month I talked about retrograde in Pluto. Now we have another retrograde, and this time it's in another big planet, giant planet, and that's Saturn. So retrograde typically is the understanding that something is going backwards, not literally, but simultaneously it's going backwards. So when you go backwards, that means that you're in the moment of reviewing something, reevaluating, not repeating, but like reassessing just where you just came from. Now, when it comes to Saturn, in case you're new to astrology, Saturn represents your sense of responsibility, your self-discipline, and what you're focusing on, and your sense of commitment and your maturity level. Now, when you put retrograde and Saturn together, this means that this is a time of re-examinations, restructuring, and recommitting and refocusing. All right, so June 29th to November 15th, Saturn retrograde can have an effect on your mental health. So this makes a very special time to confront some insecurities you have in regards to your level of maturity, sense of responsibilities, and your self-discipline, because that's what Saturn rules. Then to remove or refine these insecurities that you may have so you can go about your daily life with work smoothly. So this is a wake-up call to start working on becoming a better person for yourself, which perhaps you want to start confronting and writing down some disturbing facts about yourself, reading motivational books, or listening to some helpful podcasts, or any type of grounding work to master yourself. On another note, the influence of retrograde Saturn can cause some unexpected delays in getting promotions or getting up the ranks if that's what you're focused on. So it's best not to force anything in your external world right now, but at least you can take these next 5 months to improve yourself for yourself. And eventually this can help you advance in the real world once Saturn retrograde is over. So this year, 2024, Saturn is in the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces. And now that it's going into retrograde for these next 5 months, this could impact your sense of commitment and focus on your visions for your future and on your psyche. And your psyche is where all your imaginations and fantasies and ideas happen, but also delusions too. So this is a time of re-examining these places. Check in with how you're using your resources, what you're taking responsibility for, and whether your efforts feel aligned. This is really a time you want to get real with yourself and get real with your psychological health, your subconscious patterns, or seeking some professional help. So it'll also provoke getting some practice in art or artistic subjects for the artists out there. Now, the way that the impact of Saturn kind of sounds very opposite to being an artist and being into your psychological realm all the time. So when these two impacts get together, it really means to create a structure for you to flow in the world. This could very much be a time that influences a lot of Pisces energies. Pisces moon, Pisces sun, Pisces rising, Pisces whatever. And a little bit of Aquarius. Now that Saturn's zoning out of the Aquarius season now. So all in all, just re-examine your past mistakes you've had with discipline and responsibility, committing to your future goals, and what your psychological health depends on. So if you want to know more about how this year's retrograde and Saturn's impact will be onto you personally, go ahead and DM me on Instagram or email me. The links and everything are in my description below. So that's about what we have this month. Stay tuned for next month, what we have in July, which is new moon in Cancer and the sun going into Cancer, and also a full moon in Capricorn. And we have another domino effect of a retrograde happening as well. So tune in for my next video for next month. And like I said, if you are interested in getting a astrology reading and wondering the impact of these planets onto what it's going to tell you about your health, what it's going to tell you about your finances, your career, your love life, go ahead and DM me or email me. I prefer for you to DM me. I will respond, okay? I will respond. All right, guys.